Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to chrisIsTalkin. This is another anime review, and this one's for Boku Dake, aka in English, Erased, and this is for episode 9. Okay, now because my channel's only just started, I don't actually have any other previous episodes, so I'm just going to presume that because you're watching this review for episode 9, you've actually seen the previous episodes, and we're just going to kickstart it just to keep this video nice and short. The story starts off with Kaio's mother going all crazy because she doesn't know where Kaio is. Finally, even though it's like what, 3 days later, so you would have thought she would have started getting angry a while ago. But anyway, so she's getting all angry, and then Kaio actually ends up knocking on the door, lo and behold, with Satoru and his mother and the whole of the bloody neighborhood watch team. So things seem to be going their way, they're going back and forth, and finally confronting Kaio's mother about the situation that she's been putting Kaio through, and the neighborhood watch team support them. Now around this time, the teacher, who we thought was actually a main culprit, seems to be like the good guy and is actually supporting Kaio. So I was personally thinking, oh, okay, nothing could be going wrong. The teacher seems okay. The teacher actually wants Kaio to be alright and to be safe and secure. And then that all gets wrapped up with Kaio's grandmother, blah, blah, blah. And it turned out to be that Kaio's mum actually has a sad backstory. And lo and behold, none of us actually care. Because to be honest, no one deserves to be treated the way Kaio did. I mean, crying out loud, Kaio's mother actually beat her and then threw her into the shed for, what, how many days? She didn't actually check for 3 days before going all angry. And did anybody else feel really tense when Kaio's mother actually had the spade and went straight for Satoru's mum's face and just cut her right there? Now, right now, that alone should have shown in Overwatch that Kaio's mother is definitely not one to be looking after kids. But it turns out to be Kaio's mother was being abused, been looking after Kaio without the biological father, who turns out to be another abuser, and that's the reason why she's the one abusing Kaio. Personally, I don't think that's the reason to be lashing out your anger, but that was the reason. Kaio didn't give a shit either. She was just facing away. Not caring, just facing away. After all that gets resolved, the story continues, and then it goes back to the school theme. Now, you see Satoru's teacher ends up calling Satoru to the back room, and they end up having a little conversation about what was going on. It seemed kind of weird because at that moment, the teacher and Satoru were getting kind of close and actually asked Satoru where was he looking after Kaio for those past 3 days, and Satoru confesses that she was actually being held in the back of one of the school buses. The teacher's response was actually fairly creepy. He responded, "A place that only kidnappers like you guys would think to go." Alright, now that's kind of suspicious because in the previous episode we saw that the kidnapper actually had the same jacket as the teacher has right now, as well as seemed around the same build. Obviously that's not a reason enough to be speculating that it's the teacher, but then moving on swiftly into the episode when Satoru's in the car with his mother and the teacher after doing some shopping, Satoru ends up acknowledging that there's something sticking out from the glove compartment. The teacher starts sweating and starts getting very nervous, and then the tension starts building, the music changes, the angles of the camera start changing, and then half the teacher's face is covered and really gives off that really dark vibe. And then as Satoru ends up pulling it open, loads of sweets come out. Straight away, Satoru's shocked, the teacher's shocked, ends up speaking in a really dark, kind of sinister kind of way, in a way that's kind of like, I didn't think you were fishy, I definitely think there's something going on right now. And his excuse, oh, I quit smoking, so I'm replacing those cigarettes with sweets. That normally would be a good excuse, but to be honest, that many sweets? No. Who you fooling? No. I'm not gonna fall for that. Okay, so the teacher's gone right back up to the main list of who I think is definitely one of the suspects. Another suspect, even though it is a small hunch, that blonde little friend of his has something to do with it. Going back to the conversation that Satoru and the teacher were having, when the teacher said, a place that only kidnappers like you would think to go. This could be a red herring that the mangaka's actually just thrown out there, just to give us a little hint that it could actually be Satoru. Now, here's my theories and thoughts. I think that because this is actually a time traveling story, even though it focuses on certain points and it doesn't really go back and forth, I believe that Satoru, everything he's doing is affecting him in the future. And he even said in one of the previous episodes that as he was doing it, his memory was coming back and he's actually done it before. So it turns out to be that he wasn't changing anything. Well, it could be that the future Satoru went back in time to try and take out Kaio, because everything he did and changed as a kid totally messed up the future that he has in the future. Okay, it sounds far-fetched, but to be honest, with time traveling stories, the main character could be the bad guy. The bad guy could be the main character. And sometimes all these extra characters are just thrown at us just to throw us off the scent. Okay, I'd also like to point out that Yuki's being creepy as fuck still. Why is he always being seen with little kids? Okay, and turns out to be the little kid that Yuki's with is the next culprit. In the future, the only other people who know about the murders are the blonde friend, the teacher, himself, and maybe Yuki. But Yuki's already been arrested, and you've been told this from the first episode that he's already on death row. But the way things are going, I can't really back him up. He needs to stop sticking around with those little kids. He's a grown-ass man, and that's just pretty disturbing. Anyway, this is a very interesting episode of Boku Dake, and I really am interested to see where this is going, as I've been told that this series is only 12 episodes, and most of the actual chapters have already been made into anime episodes, and that the last final episodes are going to go past the manga and finish the manga before the actual manga does. But the manga and the anime will have the same ending. So it's just kind of interesting, like, well, where are they going to go? Is it going to tie in completely, or is the manga going to complete it properly and give you the ending with full details? Anyway, guys, if you liked what you saw and you're interested in seeing more of my anime reviews and some of my movie reviews in the future, do like and subscribe. Check out my anime amino and my Facebook anime page, and hopefully you get more stuff from me. Anyways, thanks. That was chrisIsTalkin, and I'll see you soon.